In the shadowy recesses of human psychology, there exists a cluster of personality traits known as the Dark Triad. This sinister trio, narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, represents the darkest aspects of human nature. These traits, often overlapping and difficult to disentangle, can manifest in individuals who navigate the world with a chilling disregard for others. Understanding the Dark Triad is not an exercise in morbid curiosity, but a crucial step in safeguarding ourselves and society from those who possess these traits. These individuals are often charming and charismatic, masking their malevolent intentions behind a veneer of normalcy. However, beneath the surface lies a chilling capacity for manipulation, exploitation, and even violence. Throughout history, the world has witnessed the devastating consequences of the Dark Triad in action, leaving a trail of shattered lives and broken societies in its wake. In this exploration of the Dark Triad, we will embark on a journey into the darkest corners of the human psyche, seeking to understand the origins, manifestations, and implications of these destructive personality traits. Our investigation will delve into the lives of real-life individuals, Rebecca Schaeffer, Mark Chapman, and Robert Bardo, whose actions shocked the world and exemplified the chilling reality of the Dark Triad. Prepare yourself, for the path ahead is fraught with unsettling truths and chilling revelations. The cases of Rebecca Schaeffer, Mark Chapman, and Robert Bardo serve as stark reminders of the devastating consequences of the Dark Triad. Their stories, forever etched in the annals of crime, provide invaluable insights into the minds of individuals driven by narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy.
Rebecca Schaeffer, a promising young actress, was tragically gunned down by a stalker obsessed with her fame and beauty. Her death sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond, exposing the dark side of celebrity and the lengths to which some individuals will go to satisfy their twisted desires.
Mark Chapman, driven by a delusional sense of purpose and a need for notoriety, assassinated music legend John Lennon. His actions, fueled by a potent cocktail of narcissism and psychopathy, left an indelible scar on the world of music and robbed generations of fans of an icon.
Robert Bardo, fixated on actress Rebecca Schaeffer, stalked her relentlessly before taking her life. His actions, marked by a chilling lack of empathy and a disturbing sense of entitlement, underscore the dangers posed by individuals consumed by obsession and driven to extreme measures.
Through examining the lives and crimes of these individuals, we aim to shed light on the complexities of the Dark Triad and its devastating impact on individuals and society as a whole. By understanding the root causes and behavioral patterns associated with these traits, we can better equip ourselves to recognize, address, and potentially prevent future tragedies. The first dark personality we encounter in the labyrinth of the Dark Triad is narcissism. Picture, if you will, a shimmering, opulent mirror reflecting only the image it desires, an apt metaphor for the narcissistic mind. Narcissism, at its core, is an excessive preoccupation with oneself, an inflated sense of self-importance that demands constant admiration and validation from others. Like a delicate bubble, their ego requires careful maintenance, easily threatened by the slightest criticism. Imagine a person who walks into a room and expects all eyes to be drawn to them, their presence demanding attention like a beacon. This sense of entitlement, a hallmark of narcissism, often manifests in an exploitative approach to relationships. They view others as mere pawns in their game of self-aggrandizement, tools to be used and discarded at will. Their need for admiration runs deep. They crave compliments like a drug, constantly seeking reassurance of their brilliance, beauty, or exceptionalism. This insatiable hunger for external validation stems from a fragile sense of self-worth, a deep-seated insecurity masked by a grand facade of superiority. However, beneath this carefully constructed facade of confidence and self-assuredness lies a vulnerability to criticism. Any slight, any perceived attack on their inflated ego can shatter the illusion, triggering rage, resentment, and a desperate need to reassert their dominance. The narcissist's world is a stage, and they are the perpetual star, crafting an image they believe the world needs to see. They are masters of manipulation, skilled at charming and seducing others to fulfill their needs. Their charm, however, is often superficial, lacking genuine warmth and empathy. Relationships with a narcissist are often transactional. They are drawn to individuals they perceive as valuable assets, sources of admiration, or stepping stones to further their own ambitions. Those closest to the narcissist often find themselves emotionally drained, their needs neglected, their voices silenced. Fueling this self-serving behavior is a lack of empathy, a fundamental inability to understand or share the feelings of others. They are blind to the pain they inflict, their focus solely on their own needs and desires. The world, in their eyes, revolves around them. Imagine for a moment a world devoid of empathy, where every interaction is driven by self-interest, where the needs of others are inconsequential. This is the chilling reality of the narcissistic mind, a world where genuine connection is elusive, replaced by a constant need for control and manipulation.
Section 3. Nature versus Nurture. The roots of narcissism. The origins of narcissism are complex, a tangled web woven from both genetic predisposition and environmental influences.
Some researchers believe that certain individuals may be genetically predisposed to narcissistic traits, their brains wired for heightened sensitivity to reward and a diminished capacity for empathy.
Imagine a child raised in an environment of excessive praise, where accomplishments, no matter how small, are met with adoration and accolades. This constant reinforcement can create a distorted sense of self, a belief that they are superior to others, deserving of special treatment.
Conversely, children who experience neglect, abuse, or inconsistent parenting may develop narcissistic traits as a coping mechanism, a way to protect themselves from further emotional pain. In these cases, narcissism becomes a shield, a way to mask deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness.
The interplay of genetics and environment in shaping narcissistic personality traits is a complex and multifaceted puzzle. While some individuals may be more susceptible to developing narcissism due to their genetic makeup, environmental factors, particularly early childhood experiences, play a crucial role in determining whether these predispositions blossom into full-blown narcissism.
The second figure in our exploration of the dark triad emerges from the shadows, not with a grandiose entrance, but with a calculated whisper, pulling strings from the sidelines. This is the Machiavellian personality, a master manipulator who views the world as a chessboard and people as mere pawns in their strategic game. Named after Niccolò Machiavelli, a 16th century Italian philosopher known for his treatise The Prince, which advocated for cunning and ruthlessness in leadership, Machiavellianism centers on a cold, calculated approach to interpersonal interactions. These individuals are defined by their cunning, their ability to exploit others to achieve their goals, and their unwavering belief that the ends justify any means. Imagine a person who effortlessly identifies the weaknesses of others, using this knowledge as leverage to exploit and manipulate. They are skilled at reading people, discerning their desires and vulnerabilities, and then using this information to their advantage. Their words are carefully chosen, their actions meticulously planned, all in service of achieving their desired outcome. Unlike the narcissist, who craves overt admiration, the Machiavellian individual often prefers to operate from the shadows. They are content to exert their influence subtly, pulling strings from behind the scenes to orchestrate events in their favor. Their power lies in their ability to remain undetected, their true intentions masked by a veneer of charm and affability. Central to the Machiavellian personality is a profound lack of empathy. They are emotionally detached from their actions, viewing others not as individuals deserving of respect and compassion, but as obstacles to be overcome or resources to be exploited. Their moral compass is skewed, guided solely by a pragmatic pursuit of self-interest. Relationships are merely tools in their Machiavellian arsenal, carefully cultivated and discarded as needed. They are adept at feigning intimacy and loyalty when it serves their purpose, but their affections are shallow, devoid of genuine emotional connection. Their charm is a weapon deployed strategically to disarm and manipulate their targets. This strategic deception is a hallmark of Machiavellianism. They are masters of disguise, able to adapt their persona to fit the situation, presenting themselves in whatever light best suits their needs. They are skilled liars, able to fabricate stories, twist the truth, and manipulate perceptions with ease. Their actions are often premeditated, carefully calculated to maximize their gains while minimizing any potential fallout. They are adept at playing the long game, patiently waiting for the opportune moment to strike, and always several steps ahead of their unsuspecting victims.
Section 3. Nature's Puppet Masters. The Genetic Threads of Machiavellianism. As with narcissism, the roots of Machiavellianism are believed to be a complex interplay of genetic predisposition and environmental influences.
Some researchers suggest that individuals with certain genetic variations may be more likely to exhibit Machiavellian traits. These genetic markers may influence brain function in ways that contribute to their calculating nature, emotional detachment, and ability to manipulate others.
Imagine a child who grows up in an environment where manipulation and deceit are normalized, where they witness firsthand the effectiveness of these tactics in obtaining desired outcomes. This early exposure to Machiavellian behavior can shape their understanding of the world, teaching them that cunning and ruthlessness are essential tools for survival and success.
Furthermore, childhood experiences of neglect, abuse, or instability can also contribute to the development of Machiavellian traits. In these environments, where trust is scarce and resources are limited, children may learn to rely on manipulation and deception as a means of protecting themselves and securing their needs.
The interplay of nature and nurture in shaping Machiavellian tendencies is a complex and nuanced process. Genetic predispositions may lay the groundwork, but it is often the influence of early childhood experiences, particularly those that undermine trust and security, that ultimately determines whether these traits flourish into a full-blown Machiavellian personality.
Section 1. The Heart of Darkness, Understanding Psychopathy. Our journey into the depths of the dark triad leads us now to its most chilling inhabitant, psychopathy. Unlike narcissism and Machiavellianism, which dwell in the realm of personality, psychopathy delves deeper, etching its mark on the very structure of an individual's being. It is not merely a set of learned behaviors, but a fundamental difference in the way the brain processes emotions, empathy, and morality. Imagine a world devoid of conscience, where the concepts of right and wrong hold no weight, where remorse is a foreign language and empathy a mere weakness. This is the chilling landscape inhabited by the psychopathic mind, a world where the suffering of others is irrelevant, a mere inconvenience on the path to personal gratification. Psychopaths are often described as predators, their gaze cold and calculating, their movements deliberate and controlled. They move through the world with an unnerving sense of detachment, as if observing a play they are not a part of, their actions dictated by a script only they can read. Their lack of empathy is not a matter of choice, but a neurological deficiency, a missing piece in the puzzle of human connection. They are incapable of experiencing genuine guilt, remorse, or shame. Their emotions shallow and fleeting, easily manipulated to serve their own purposes. Section 2, The Mask of Sanity, Unveiling the Psychopathic Traits. While the inner workings of the psychopathic mind may remain shrouded in darkness, their outward behavior provides chilling glimpses into their nature. They are often characterized by a superficial charm, a chameleon-like ability to adapt their persona to fit the situation, and a silver tongue capable of weaving elaborate webs of deceit. Imagine a master manipulator, skilled at reading people, at identifying their weaknesses and exploiting them for personal gain. This is the hallmark of the psychopath, their interactions with others, a carefully orchestrated performance designed to elicit a desired response. They are masters of deception, their words dripping with false sincerity, their actions carefully calculated to project an image of normalcy. They are skilled liars, able to maintain eye contact while spinning elaborate fabrications, their true intentions masked by a veneer of credibility. Beneath this carefully constructed facade, however, lies a chilling disregard for the well-being of others. They are impulsive and irresponsible, their actions often driven by a need for immediate gratification. Consequences be damned. Rules and social norms are mere suggestions, easily disregarded when they interfere with their desires. Their relationships are transactional, devoid of genuine emotional depth. They are incapable of experiencing love in the way most people understand it. Their affections shallow and fleeting, easily discarded when they no longer serve a purpose. Section 3. The Seeds of Darkness. Nature, Nurture, and the Psychopathic Mind. The origins of psychopathy, like the other members of the Dark Triad, are complex and multifaceted, influenced by a tangled web of genetic predispositions and environmental factors.
While the exact causes remain elusive, researchers believe that both nature and nurture play significant roles in shaping these individuals. Imagine a child born with a diminished capacity for empathy, their brains wired differently, their emotional responses muted.
This biological vulnerability, while not deterministic, creates a fertile ground for the development of psychopathic traits, particularly when combined with adverse environmental influences. Early childhood experiences of abuse, neglect, or trauma can have a profound impact on brain development, particularly in those genetically predisposed to psychopathy.
These adverse experiences can disrupt the normal development of empathy, emotional regulation, and impulse control, further solidifying the neural pathways associated with psychopathic traits. Furthermore, inconsistent parenting, lack of warmth and affection, and exposure to violence or criminal behavior can exacerbate these vulnerabilities, creating an environment where manipulation, deceit, and a lack of remorse are normalized.
The interplay of genes and environment in shaping the psychopathic mind is a complex dance, a delicate balance between predisposition and experience. While not every child who experiences adversity will develop psychopathic traits, and not every individual with psychopathic tendencies had a troubled childhood, the combination of these factors significantly increases the risk. Section 1. The Shadow of Obsession, Rebecca Schaeffer and Robert Bardo. The tragic case of Rebecca Schaeffer, a rising star extinguished too soon, unveils the devastating potential of obsession intertwined with dark triad traits.
Rebecca, vibrant and talented, became the target of Robert Bardo, a young man consumed by a dangerous cocktail of narcissism and psychopathy. Bardo, harboring delusions of grandeur and a warped sense of entitlement, saw in Rebecca not a real person, but an object of his twisted desires.
His obsession, fueled by a narcissistic need for control and a psychopathic lack of empathy, drove him to stalk her relentlessly, his actions escalating with each perceived slight against his inflated ego.
Rebecca, unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows, continued to live her life, her every move documented in the media, unknowingly feeding Bardo's dangerous obsession. To him, she represented the fame and adoration he craved, a living embodiment of his own narcissistic fantasies.
In Bardo's mind, warped by a psychopathic inability to comprehend the consequences of his actions, eliminating Rebecca became the only way to possess her, to extinguish the source of his perceived rejection. The act of murder, a chilling testament to his lack of empathy and remorse, transformed Rebecca from a vibrant young woman into a tragic symbol of the dark side of fame and the devastating consequences of unchecked obsession.
Mark Chapman, forever etched in history as the man who silenced John Lennon's music, embodies the chilling reality of narcissism and psychopathy colliding with a desperate need for notoriety.
Chapman, consumed by a grandiose sense of self-importance, saw himself as an instrument of destiny, chosen to commit an act that would solidify his place in history.
Lennon, a global icon representing peace and love, became the target of Chapman's twisted ambition.
In his delusional mind, killing Lennon wasn't about taking a life, but about absorbing his fame, his legacy, and his perceived power.
Chapman's actions, fueled by a narcissistic need for recognition and a psychopathic disregard for human life, transformed him from an anonymous face in the crowd to a symbol of senseless violence and the dark side of fandom.
Chapman's actions went beyond the act of murder. They were a calculated performance designed to shock and horrify, to ensure his name would forever be linked with Lennon's.
His complete lack of remorse in the aftermath, his chilling detachment as he calmly read The Catcher in the Rye while waiting for the police, underscored the profound lack of empathy that characterized his psychopathic mind.
The assassination of John Lennon, a tragic loss that reverberated around the world, serves as a stark reminder of the dangerous potential of narcissism and psychopathy when combined with a desire for infamy.
Chapman's actions, a grotesque manifestation of his own internal darkness, extinguished a bright light in the world, leaving behind a legacy of pain, loss, and a haunting reminder of the fragility of life.
The cases of Rebecca Schaeffer, Robert Bardo, and Mark Chapman, though separated by circumstance, echo with the chilling themes of the Dark Triad.
Each perpetrator, driven by a unique combination of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, embarked on a path of destruction, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and unanswered questions.
Bardo, consumed by his narcissistic obsession with Rebecca Schaeffer, saw her as an object to possess, his actions fueled by a lack of empathy and a delusional sense of entitlement.
His inability to cope with perceived rejection, coupled with his psychopathic tendencies, culminated in a horrific act of violence.
Chapman, driven by a grandiose sense of self-importance and a desire for notoriety, targeted John Lennon, believing that by taking his life, he could somehow absorb his fame and legacy.
His actions, devoid of empathy or remorse, showcased the chilling reality of psychopathy intertwined with a narcissistic need for recognition.
These cases, while unique in their details, highlight the devastating consequences of the Dark Triad when these traits are allowed to fester and grow unchecked.
They serve as a stark reminder of the importance of recognizing the warning signs of these personality disorders and seeking help for those who exhibit them.
By understanding the motivations and behaviors associated with the Dark Triad, we can work towards prevention and intervention, striving to create a safer world for everyone.
The stories of Rebecca Schaeffer, Mark Chapman, and Robert Bardo, forever etched in the annals of crime, serve as chilling reminders of the very real dangers posed by individuals operating under the influence of the Dark Triad. These cases, though extreme, offer a glimpse into the potential for destruction when narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy converge in the human psyche. The world, unfortunately, is not a fairy tale. It is not a place solely populated by kind-hearted individuals. We must accept the unsettling reality that darkness resides within the human heart, capable of manifesting in ways that challenge our understanding of good and evil. Ignoring this potential for darkness, dismissing it as the stuff of fiction or news headlines, leaves us vulnerable and unprepared. Recognizing the Dark Triad is not about living in fear, but about arming ourselves with knowledge. It is about understanding the subtle cues, the red flags that may signal the presence of these traits in individuals we encounter. It is about trusting our instincts when something feels amiss, when someone's charm seems too calculated, their motives too self-serving. The more we understand about the Dark Triad, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves and those we care about. We can learn to set healthy boundaries, to recognize manipulation tactics, and to disengage from interactions that feel toxic or exploitative. While we cannot erase the darkness from the world, we can strive to illuminate the shadows, to create a society that is more aware, more resilient, and more compassionate in the face of these challenges. Early intervention is key. Recognizing that the seeds of the Dark Triad are often sown in childhood. Creating supportive and nurturing environments for children, particularly those who have experienced trauma or adversity, can help mitigate the development of these traits. Teaching empathy, fostering emotional intelligence, and promoting healthy relationship models can all play a role in shaping individuals who are less susceptible to the allure of the Dark Triad. For those already grappling with these personality disorders, therapy and treatment options are available. While the path to change is challenging and requires a deep level of self-awareness and commitment, it is possible to mitigate the negative impacts of these traits and cultivate healthier ways of interacting with the world. Understanding the Dark Triad is not about labeling or demonizing individuals, but about fostering a more informed and compassionate approach to mental health. It is about recognizing that these disorders are not simply choices, but complex interplay of nature and nurture, requiring a multifaceted response that combines prevention, intervention, and support. By shining a light on the darkest corners of human nature, we can strive to create a world where empathy triumphs over exploitation, where compassion prevails over callousness, and where the potential for darkness is met with understanding, awareness, and a commitment to healing.